What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Auto Auction Rebuilds. Today we're back with my super cheap $7,800 2013 Tesla Model S P85. We've got a couple problems with this car, and as crazy as it may sound, Monkey Wrench Mike and I are embarking on kind of a race journey comparison in this car and in a 2014 Toyota Prius C, and I still have problems with the Tesla. Now, the Tesla has 270,000 miles. It just crossed 270,000 miles on the odometer. We're having a couple issues. One, it has no heat, and number two, the back end, there's something going on in the suspension in the rear. And before I go taking it on a 1,400-mile journey, which, by the way, is going to be through lots of snow, ice, and mixed precipitation, sub-freezing temperatures, I want to just double check and make sure the wheels aren't about to fall off. Now, most of you, by the time this video comes out, we've already been through the storm. You probably remember hearing about this big storm that's coming through the Midwest. Snow and ice, all kinds of stuff is coming. Well, today, just for your reference, is January the 11th, 2024. I know this video is going to come out a little late, but I want you guys to know that this is the weather that Monkey Wrench Mike and I have decided to embark in on our journey to compare the cost of driving and the time it takes driving a Tesla versus driving a hybrid. The hybrid supposedly gets 46 miles a gallon on the highway, whereas the Tesla gets something like 100 mpgs, whatever that means. We're going to try to break it down and simplify it into cash money. How much does it actually cost to drive the Tesla versus the Toyota Prius 1,400 miles in the freezing cold? And how long will it take the Prius to get to its destination in Terre Haute, Indiana, versus the Tesla? Obviously, the Tesla has to charge, and that's going to add some time. So it's kind of a race. Who's going to get there first, and who's going to save the most money? The results are probably going to surprise me just as much as they're going to surprise you. So we're going to be doing the full 1,400 miles. Mike and I are going to take off in one car, and we're going to drive that car all the way to Terre Haute. And then we're going to switch cars and drive the other car all the way back to Oklahoma. So we both have an equal opportunity to understand and get to know. So yeah, speaking of, see what I mean? Yeah, but it's me out here terrorizing the neighborhood, right? Yeah, that's me. Anyway, this way we both have equal chances with the vehicles. We get to know them well, and then we can come back and give you guys like a final review and our thoughts in that video. Now, that's all for the next video, but for this video, we've got to figure a couple things out, and primarily is that rear suspension. It's really concerning. It's not so bad when it's on dry roads, but when the roads are wet, it becomes a little bit more sketchy. Yeah, he just left skid marks all up and down the road. There he goes, peeling out, losing it around the corner in his pickup truck. Wow. Anyway, but yeah, I'm the problem. Okay, but anyway, when it's wet, the back end feels a little bit more sketchy, obviously, and I'm going to tell you what it's like. It's like, picture this, all right? This is the car, we're going straight. If I hit the accelerator, it'll veer this way. But when I let off the accelerator, it veers that way. I want to say it's subtle, but there's enough of it there that I notice that concerns me. I have a hunch it's going to be one of the, I think they call them toe links or toe arms on the back. I just need to get in the air, take a better look at everything, make sure nothing is about to fall off. And as for the heater, well, let me show you guys something. I am probably the only person that has ever jerry-rigged the heater in a Tesla before, and I'm actually kind of proud of this, all right? So if we go here, we need to pop the frunk. How do you open that? Right there. All right, I want you to come with me down here and take a look. What do you see? That's a switch. Yeah, that's a toggle switch. Now right here is my heat. So right now, the heater is on, I've got the AC going, but there's no fan, right? Because the fan doesn't work in this. Fan works fine. Oh, wow. Put your hands right here. Guess what, guys? You get heat. And yes, it even changes. We can make it come out of the defroster. You can hear it change. We can turn that off. We can make it come out of the floor. All three. And we can turn it off, and it all operates from this switch. So needless to say, the blower motor in this car is good, as I suspected. I figured it was. Unfortunately for you, I did not record the process because honestly, I just wanted to get it done. I'm running out of time and we're supposed to be leaving on this trip very, very soon. So there are fuse boxes under the pieces of the frunk here. What I did is I found the blower motor fuse. It's a maxi fuse, 25 amp. I simply pulled it out, and what I found was on one side we had 14 volts, which is the side that provides power to the circuit, but on the other side that should have no power, there was 5 volts, almost like some sort of a reference signal. Well, I didn't care about any of that. I stuck a wire, I think it's a 10 gauge, 8 gauge, 10 gauge wire into the fuse, pushed it back down on the side so it is fused. If something goes wrong, it will pop the fuse. I then ran a power wire through here. You're going to love this. You guys are going to love this. I ran the power wire through here. Then I ran it through the fender right here. See, look at this. Look how nice this is. You can barely even see it. There it is. It runs through the fender. And yeah, I did the old school through the door trick. I put it under, under this rubber to help protect it. Under here, then it runs under the dash, and can you guess where it goes? Yes, it runs straight across to my toggle switch. Then I've got the same wire running back from the toggle switch to the 12 volt, the positive of the fan. I've got a ground from the fan running straight to the A pillar where a bunch of other grounds are, and that's it. That's it. I went so far as to not put the cover back on this. You can see the power wires running under there. But anyway, I wanted to show you that's how I got heat. And I'm almost willing to guarantee you nobody ever has jerry-rigged a Tesla before. Who would do something like this? Well, I would, because I needed heat. It is cold. It's going to be below freezing. The temperatures in Indiana are supposed to be into the negatives. Like I think I saw the other day, -7 is coming. The reason I have to get up there is my internet has crashed. The router, the Wi-Fi, something has gone out in Indiana. I have no access to my cameras. I have no access to my thermostat. And I need to make sure that the heater is functioning before the temperatures crash and I end up with a broken house. All right, I got the car in the air and I wanted to point you guys at my, my backup camera right there. It failed. Unfortunately, that camera has got some cracks in the case. I washed the car last week, and can you guess what happened? I got water inside the camera, and the camera's dead. That camera cost about $350 to replace. Now, if you're wondering about the heater, not to worry. I do have a new PTC unit coming for it, and I'm hoping that that fixes the problem. Tesla has a self-diagnostic tool, and I was able to run a diagnostic on the car's systems, and what I found was a code for the PTC unit, which is basically the heating module inside of the car. So I think once we get that replaced, I think we might possibly end up with a working heater again. I am just now noticing this, but well, there's a pretty big gash in the sidewall right there, isn't there? Ooh, that's deep. That's pretty deep. Great. The tires on the back are definitely not as good as I would have hoped. This tire looks okay. It rides smooth as silk down the road, though. It absolutely does, but let me show you the other side, because we have a lot of inside wear on this tire, and this is very concerning. In fact, this is probably the side I need to be looking at suspension problems on. Take a look at the inside wear. Look at this, guys. Yeah, there is a ton. In fact, the inside's almost gone. Oh, shoot. Oh, shoot. Wow, I did not expect that. Yeah, it's practically bald on the inside. Great. What size are these? I am supposed to leave tomorrow. Like, I seriously doubt I'm going to be able to get any tires on this car before then. 245, 45 19s. Lovely. Well, what that tells me is that we've got a lot of camber going on, guys. So this wheel is obviously, you know, it's sitting in. So you've got a lot of wear. A lot of the weight is riding on the inside edge of this tire. So that could be, I mean, that could be a number of things. It could be a ball joint issue. It could be control arms. It tells me that for sure something is most likely going on in this rear suspension, and we're going to have to at least try to get this figured out. I at least need to know what it is, but at least now I know that I'm riding on a tire that could be quite problematic. Let's get this up a little bit higher and take a closer look under the car. Well, I mean, just coming under here and looking around, I don't see anything. Unfortunately, I think what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to lower the car down, and I'm going to have to try to get this thing up in the air, and I don't even know if I can do that. Last time we tried to put the bridge jack on this car, it was a no-go. There was no way it was going to reach. So why don't we find out if that's still the issue. I made sure to center the car. You cannot jack it up by the battery. There's these little pads here, and I have the puck for them. Oh, that side reaches. That side reaches. If we can get this side on here, guys, we might actually be able to get this whole car up in the air all at once. I think it's going to make it. I do. Oh, that is so... that is so close. Well, I got news for you guys. Thanks to having the pucks and getting the Tesla lined up on the rack better, we could actually lift up this car. I've got it in the air. I almost can't believe it myself. And unfortunately, I took some time to do some diagnosing off camera, which means you guys aren't going to follow along with me. I'm just going to tell you what's wrong with it. And I already found it, and it's absolutely this side, which, I mean, the tires tell you everything you need to know. I mean, they really do. The tires tell you everything. No wonder this car kind of twists a little bit when you hit the accelerator, and it twists the other direction when regenerative braking kicks in. Let me show you what's going on under here. Now, at the risk of breaking my camera, because I'm going to be honest with you, I've got it standing on toothpicks right now so you guys can see this. Do you see the bolt kind of in the center of your screen? That is, I believe they call it a tow arm. And I'm just going to very gently, because my camera falls, it shatters and breaks, and this would be a bad thing for me. Take a look. Do you see that? Yeah, that'll definitely cause a problem, won't it? Obviously, the bushing has gone bad right there, and it doesn't look like it's that big of a deal to replace, and it's also adjustable. So that definitely has something to do with your toe, and probably maybe even a little bit with your camber as well. That's going to have to get replaced, and then it's going to have to go in for an alignment. But first, what are we going to do about the tire? All right, well, this is the way it goes, isn't it? I got the front up in the air, as you can see, and I checked the front end for play, and there's none. There's absolutely none. I don't know what got me, man, but it got me right in my cuticle, and I'm here to tell you that kind of sucks, man. Those hurt the worst. They're like paper cuts, you know what I mean? So obviously all of the tires have worn evenly, it seems, except for that one in the back, and of course that's the one that has play. There's no play in the front end at all. Absolutely none. I'm so glad that we were finally able to get the car in the air where I could actually check the suspension. This really gives me a better insight as to what's going on with the car. Now, that control arm or tow arm or lateral arm, whatever it is they call it, that link in the back, that is going to have to get replaced. Unfortunately, I leave tomorrow. So getting it replaced before the trip is not going to happen. So here's where I'm at. I've called the local tire stores out here in Purcell and Pauls Valley, Oklahoma, and I'm here to tell you, they heard the tire size and they were like, what? No. So I don't really know what to do, because this tire, I don't feel like this tire is safe. Not at all. I can deal with that tow arm. I can deal with that. That's not a big deal. There's very little play in it, but it's definitely enough play for it to cause torque steer. Remember, the motor is back here. The axles are back here. So when this thing is going up, it's pushing it in, which explains why I'm being drug around. And when you let off, it's going the other way. So the car is constantly kind of, you know, I can deal with it. I've driven on tires worse than this. The inside wear is my biggest concern, though, because it is really bad. Do I think it's got 1,400 miles on it? Yeah, I do. I think it's got 1,400 miles. I can probably make it. Outside tread is great. It's just, it's this inside wear, and it's so hard to even get you guys over there. But that inside wear is, I mean, it's pretty bad, guys. It is. It's pretty bad. You can even see it on the inside right here too. Let me get my light out of here. Take a look over here where, I mean, the tread is basically, it's basically flat. Take a look at that. You can see the cupping going on it. That's a really, really bad tire. And then the other one, this one will probably be all right, but it's got that bulge is pretty nasty. I mean, somebody hit a curb or something pretty hard. It dented the rim, the wheel. So what do I do? Is this worth taking a risk? I need you guys to comment below and tell me what your thoughts are, because I'm nervous as hell. Now, I remember it wasn't too long ago, Monkey Wrench Mike and I went to Chicago, and we picked up a Dodge Viper, like a 2003 Dodge Viper, and it had the original tires on it from 2003. All right, the tires were like 20 years old. The back tires were bald with cords showing through them, and we drove it. We did it in the rain and everything, and we made it. So I'm trying to convince myself this isn't as bad as I'm making it out to be, and I'm probably going to be fine. So currently, here's what I'm thinking. I'm considering just taking the trip, hoping for the best, and I hope we make it. Unfortunately, this Tesla, I mean Teslas in general, do not come with spare tires. So if you blow a tire, you're pretty well screwed. Here's an idea that I had, but I don't like it. These front tires are practically perfect. I mean, these tires are in excellent condition. So my thought was that tire in the back is going to continue wearing because of the camber and the toe issue back there. That tire is going to continue wearing on the whole trip, while the rest of these are wearing normally. It would almost make more sense to me to move the front tires to the back, where they will have full tread, move the back tires to the front. But then again, if I have a blowout on the front, oh man, that's going to be a really bad day. Now, here's one other option, and you guys can tell me what you think. As long as these are not directional tires, and I don't think that they are. I don't see any arrows indicating that they're directional. What if I took the back tires and swapped them? What if I move this tire, which has excellent tread, all the way across, and we move that to the side that's wearing down? And then we take this that tire and we move it over here where it can wear evenly. That, to me, makes the most sense in my current situation, because nobody out here has a tire. I'm not going to get one. Moving the bad tires to the front is probably the worst idea I've had in a long time, including adding that toggle switch for the heater. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to raise the back end up. Thankfully, 270,000 miles, ladies and gentlemen. And the only suspension issue on this car is one link. One toe link, or whatever they call it. In that one little link is all that needs to be replaced, and a couple of tires. Now, I would like to keep the tires the same. These are Michelin Green X Primacy MX-M4. I would really like to keep the tires identical. The other option is maybe it's a good time to order the part that I need for the other side and just swap these wheels and tires out for another set. Maybe I can find some on Facebook Marketplace or eBay or something like that. We can get some better wheels and tires, some that look a little better. These are, well, with, 270,000 miles on them, they've seen a lot, and they are in kind of rough shape. It's something to consider, but you guys tell me what you think. Is it safer to swap that tire with that tire with that one, than it is to continue driving it exactly like it is? I think that's the best bet until I can get those tires replaced. All right, back to the back again. I've got both back wheels off, and I was able to get a much clearer picture of the problem. It's this right here, which is called a tow arm, but obviously it's on the other side. This side is good. Here's a look at all of the suspension. In fact, let me grab a light. That'd make it a lot easier for you guys to see. There we go. so you guys can get a clear picture of the problem. And I just noticed something. In fact, I've noticed a couple things. Number one, you take a look in there. This is your tow arm. Like you're looking at it right there. There's like a part number. So it's hard to read, but there it is. It says RR Tow Link, part number 6006840-00B. But take a look back there. Do you see a socket? There's a socket stuck on this tow arm. I'd like to get that off, if at all possible. Let me put my light in here. I'm gonna actually show you guys what I'm looking at here. This is crazy. There's a swivel socket. Look, right there is a swivel socket stuck on the tow arm. So somebody was working on it and they just left the tool on there, man. Here's the problem that I see with this tow arm. And I'm thinking, this looks super easy to get out, guys. Look, you got a bolt here, super simple. Pop it off from the knuckle, and then you've got the same thing over here. You got a nut and a bolt on the backside. Pop it right off, right? Wrong. Tesla, in their infinite wisdom, decided to put the nut on the backside. The nut is back here, and the bolt goes through here, guys. Please tell me, where's the bolt can't come out. That's not even possible. You cannot get the bolt out of there. That bolt's going to have to be cut. That bolt is going to have to be cut, and it looks like you're going to have to flip it. So we're going to need not only the arm, that little what is this called? The right rear or RR tow link. Not only do we need the link, but we're going to need the hardware. Might as well get this one too, because we're going to have to flip it and put the nut on the backside and the bolt on the front. So the way to do this would be to get this nut off, push the bolt as far out as you can get, and then get in there with like maybe a Sawzall carefully, because I think your battery pack is right over here. But you're going to have to kind of saw that off. You're going to have to cut that bolt off. And then put a new one in and flip it the other direction. That's a crying shame. Let's go back to the other side real quick so I can show you the culprit, the actual problem. I believe the part numbers are identical on both of these, so they should be interchangeable. But here's this one right here. There you go. The part number is 6006840-00B, and it says RR Tow Link, made in Canada. And you can see this one a little better. It doesn't have any parts stuck to it. Any old school pieces still stuck to it. There's the motor back there. It's hard to see, but it's back there. And this piece right here, this link, this one little link, is what's causing all of our problems. So once we get that replaced, it'll be very important to get that into Tesla and make sure that we get an alignment done. Hopefully the rest of this is not damaged either. I mean, I really put some torque on it, and I didn't see any movement anywhere except for that one link. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to swap these tires from left to right, right to left on the rear. I'm going to attempt to find a matching set, or even if I could find them on Facebook Marketplace, it doesn't matter. This is the tire that's going where the damaged tow arm is, or tow link, and this is the tire that we are putting on the good side. So hopefully it won't wear anymore. But I noticed this when I was rolling the tire really this tire is bad. When I was rolling this, it's lumpy. It doesn't roll smoothly. It's like lump, lump, lump. But here's the crazy thing. The car is designed so well that even with a tire that's kind of like lump, 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 you get this thing on the road, it's smooth as silk. You never feel any vibration or anything coming from that bad tire. That's exceptional quality right there. So let me get these tires. See, this one's nice and smooth, but that one is not. We're going to swap these tires over, guys, and hopefully this will buy me enough time to figure out if I can find a pair of tires that'll work on Facebook Marketplace, or maybe I can find them at a tire shop before we leave, or once we get to Terre Haute. I don't know. Or even a different set of rims. If I could find someone that's selling a set of 4 good-looking wheels with good tires, same size obviously, I would absolutely go that route too. Right now, this is the only thing I can do, because as you can see, it's dark and everything is already closed, and I'm supposed to be leaving in the morning. Can we just take a second to appreciate this beautiful kind of pearlescent silver What a beautiful color this car is. And for the mileage, you're not going to hear me complain about it. And look, I walk up to it and it opens all of the door handles for me. It's truly a luxury car, whether people want to admit it or not. This is a very luxurious vehicle, even for being something as old as a 2013. Now, I'm going to get in here and I'm going to turn jack mode off in the service. Yes, I know jack mode is enabled. You go to service and you push jack mode, and that enables your suspension, at which point it's already in the very low position. Normally I have it in standard, and I also turn that off. So she's leveling herself out now, and all is right with the world. Beautiful car, as you can see, 270,012 miles. Literally just crossed over. We've got 100 miles of range left, and I've probably got... Wow, actually, I've probably got about 80 miles of driving to do. Thankfully, at my new house, I installed a NEMA 1540 outlet, which is basically the same thing I have here. I just did it in a more professional manner. Instead of running outside and up and over, it's actually behind the wall, and I mounted a double gang box and the outlet and everything behind the sheetrock and everything. So it looks proper, but there's no sheetrock here, so no reason to worry about that. So we got a charger here, a 40 ampere, and then I've got the factory Tesla charger at my other house. It's not nearly as good. It's like 32 amps, and I'm on a 50 amp breaker, so we're going to have to upgrade that at some point. In the next video of this car, I think what I'm going to do is I want to tell you about the previous owner. This is a one-owner car, and the owner saw my video. In fact, he's now subscribed to the channel, so shout out to you. I'm not going to say his name. I don't know if he wants to be shouted out like publicly or whatever, so I'm not going to say his name, but shout out to you. Thank you for the car, and thank you for taking such great care of it. There's an interesting story behind it, and a lot of things are not as I thought they were. There's a lot to talk about in the next video. There's more than a few very expensive components that were replaced before Tesla screwed him over, lied to him about what was wrong with the car and how much it was going to cost to fix it, which caused him to trade it in on a brand new Tesla Model S. So yeah, he is happy. He's happy with his new car. Obviously, a lot has changed in the Model S since 2013. But he was very pissed off to find out that they lied to him about what was wrong with his car and how much it was going to cost to fix. He put a lot of money into this only to basically get screwed over by the service center. So stay tuned for that video. We're going to come back and I'll tell you all the good details on what has been replaced on this car, what has been upgraded on this car, and how much this gentleman spent to keep this thing on the road for almost 300,000 miles. So I think I've fallen in love with this car, and that's hard to explain because I've had far newer with far better performance and far better options. I've had ones with autopilot that would drive themselves. I had a Model 3 long range, a 2020, I think, 2020 Model 3 Performance. I had a 2022 that I ordered brand new and picked it up from the Tesla shop in Missouri. That was a Model 3 long range, and it had full autopilot, self-driving, all that good stuff. So did the Performance. I've had a Model S P90D with Insanity and Insanity Plus modes. That thing was crazy. Dual motors, 90 kilowatt-hour battery, and it also had autopilot, self-driving, all that good stuff. I've had newer, but I had a loan on all of those. That's the difference, I think, is those cars I owed money on. This car, it was $7,800, guys. Like that's what does it for me. $7,800, and I get all the mileage deductions that anybody else would get if they spent $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, $100,000 on a vehicle. I get the same mileage deduction from a car that was $7,800 that's going to cost me, at least for now, very little to repair and be able to drive and enjoy. And it costs almost nothing to charge. It's like win, 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 unless something catastrophic goes bad. But I don't think that's something I'm going to be too concerned about. Hint, hint, for the next video. If you think I'm safe to drive 1,400 miles in this car in ice, snow, and rain, let me know in the comments below. And if you think I should not do it, well, let me know in the comments below. I think changing that tire from one side to the other was probably the best thing I could do in the situation that I'm in. I'm not proud of it. I don't think it was a great idea. I wouldn't recommend it to anybody, but in my situation, you've got to put something with more tread on that wheel because it's going to continue experiencing tread wear from the failed toe link. And this is all I have. This is all I can do right now. With that said, guys, I am going to get out of here. I'm really loving the car, and I hope you guys are enjoying it with me. I'm not trying to force feed a Tesla or an EV to you. I'm just showing you my experience with a super cheap, very luxurious Tesla. And with that, stay safe out there, everybody. I look forward to seeing you all again if I survive the trip to Indiana and back in the next one.